Welcome back, college baseball fans. We're back here for another episode of College Baseball Show, the Thursday night, the preview show, the fun one here. And it's just Jared and I tonight, so you get to hang out and talk college baseball. Yeah, March Madness is going. We know you're probably tuning into that too. But you baseball fiends, baseball's going right now, and I know we're excited. Jared, how we doing tonight, man? I know you're excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back on, ready to go. I have a very good whiskey by my side to talk a little bit of college baseball. I got the Comfort Creatures Brewing Company hat, Athens, Georgia, because we have the big Georgia series versus Texas A&M. If you're in Athens, you should check out Creature Comforts. And if you're in Athens, you definitely know what Creature Comforts is, so you don't even need me to tell you to go check it out. But awesome place to get a beer. No free ads. But yeah, just ready to go.
I love it, man. Yeah, there's like days that I miss having a little glass of Blanton's, but I get it. I will probably partake in the Devil's Lettuce later tonight when I'm gonna hang out and play my college baseball game online. I am excited for this one, man. Like, yes, March Madness, Midweek Madness. Let's start. First one. Tarleton State takes down Texas 6-1. Like, yeah. I don't think of any of the Midweek Madnesses, they're the one team that was like, they haven't stumbled, they haven't had any struggles. They did not look like they knew how to hit at all. And this Tarleton State team, while not one of the best mid-majors, isn't a bad one, but that did Texas look horrible.
No, and I think this is something like we going into the last podcast, going into the year, kind of talked about how Texas was like top 2 team. I still think they're one of the top 5 teams in the nation, right? But I do think we are starting to see like they do have holes here and there. Like they're going to hit teams that are going to kind of punch them in the mouth and beat them. Like they struggled in that first game against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss took was it Ole Miss? I'm losing track. Yeah, Ole Miss. Yeah, took the first one in extra innings. And so the good news is they dominated them in the second 2 games. So like I think there are parts of this Texas team that like if you get them on a bad night, you can beat them, but they're going to be really hard to beat with that rotation every single weekend. So a midweek game where they're Tuesday guys throwing, you're kind of looking at the back half of the arms here. I'm not super concerned. The fact that the offense couldn't get going, I think, is a little bit more concerning to me. But this is something I've at least noticed from working in college baseball for a while too, is like when you're used to seeing like 95 plus every weekend, and then all of a sudden you got a team out there going like high 80s, low 90s, kind of like the timing's up a little bit different. And you see these like low key guys sometimes just shove. And that's what Tarleton State did. Is they've been a talented team in the past too. And I don't know what their record is. I have to go look it up, but it's a good baseball team and it's a good baseball program for years. So I don't look too much into this Tuesday loss for Texas.
No. And like you said, man, I mean, midweek games, if you got like, if I'm a mid-major, I'm throwing a lefty junker. Like, give me a guy that's throwing high 80s, like low 70s with that breaking ball. That's going to be hard because they're used to seeing, especially SEC teams, they're used to seeing 95 to 100 on weekends, and then you're going to throw them some junk. Like, that's tough. But that's what I would throw. I'd be like, soft lefty, man. Just come out there and go beat them up, throw strikes, and see what happens. And that's what they did. They really attacked it. Another team, less of that small ball style, but Portland beats up on Oregon State at home at wonderful Joe Etzel Field there. Carter Gaston, man, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run. He looks so good. Now I've heard that there's a flu bug going around for some of the ball clubs out there. Some folks are struggling with that, but still, to show up on a Tuesday when you need every advantage in RPI, Oregon State didn't show up offensively. 3 hits for them. Leo Cote, who was an Oregon State Beaver, transferred up to Portland, had 2 hits himself for Portland. So like there was a missing beat there offensively, and that's been the big bugaboo so far for Oregon State this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I think Jason even tweeted out about from the 64 Analytics account the other day. Is like, first hot take is that midweeks really don't matter in some sense. Like they do in some ways, but it's not like the ultimate judgment of a team. But his second hot take was like midweeks do matter for RPI. Like it's factored into RPI ratings, like you just mentioned. And so like that could be, you could say it's a flaw with the RPI system, but at the same time, like you have to go out and win those games. And Oregon State, it's one thing to lose a midweek game, but it's one thing to get 3 hit in a midweek game and score no runs. They had 1 extra base hit, I think a double by Bryce Hubbard. And so it's just kind of like, all right, if you can't get the offensive going against a midweek, a team like Portland who's throwing the back half of their arms on a midweek, it's like you have concerns with that offense, and we've had concerns with the Oregon State offense all season long. So this is nothing new. I think we're going to see how Oregon State bounces back from this. I mean, they have a pretty decent schedule. They play a lot on the road just to help kind of boost that RPI. Again, I'm not out on Oregon State completely as a top 25 team. The pitching staff and the rotation's so good, but you need something from that offense.
The pitching staff is a top 10 pitching staff in the country. There's no doubt. We none of us have any arguments there. And even the 3 runs against Portland were good. It was a sac fly, like a ground ball up the middle. Like it wasn't like these balls. They didn't even give up an extra base hit, Jared. Like that's how good they pitched. But when they only get 2 hits from Hubbard and 1 other hit, like that's not enough offensively to do anything. And it was weird. AJ Singer got a hit, and then the 2 from Hubbard. That's not enough offensively. They got to get going with some of these guys. I do want to give a tip of the hat to the Citadel. They lost the game on Tuesday, 5-8 to Georgia, but then they have to turn around on Wednesday and they play Clemson at home. Like, what a 2-game set for the midweek for them. Now, they lost that one also, but hats off to Citadel. They were beating Georgia for most of this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, midweek. Georgia's offense showed up when it needed to, right? So I think that's where you don't have the concerns. We've talked about the Georgia rotation. It's really good with Volchko and all these Dylan Vagu and all these other arms that they have in town. Kenny Ishikawa's, I think, back now too as well. Again, I don't know too much about the Georgia back half of the rotation, like the guys who aren't in the rotation, guys who aren't big key bullpen arms. But they gave up a 5 spot early, and you're kind of like, are we concerned here about a loss? But again, if your offense comes back and pulls it off, I'm not concerned.
No concerns there. I thought Georgia did what they had to, especially after a tough series on the weekend against Tennessee, where it was miserable weather. Also, hasn't been good weather in Georgia, so go out there, get your W, finish it up. If you're in finals week, I know the West Coast's all in finals week this week, so get your classes done, get ready for the next semester. But it's tough, but a big win there. Georgetown 4, Virginia 6. Good game there. Virginia offense just doing enough to win these baseball games. I want to also jump to that Indiana at Vanderbilt.
Ooh, can we touch on that Georgetown game? Because I have to beat the drum of the Georgetown Hoyas here.
They're playing good.
They're playing good baseball. They're 10-4 at home. They're 13-9 overall in the season. They almost won that Virginia game. It was like an error by the second baseman, I think, that wound up getting that game, the 6-4 lead for Virginia. JT Rabb, who they haven't had all year, who should have been the Big East pitcher of the year last year, strikes out 8 over 5 innings against this Virginia team. The rotation, I talked about this in our preseason mid-major article about how you have to ignore the 13-win season or whatever they had the year before, because they've been known for pitching and they went out and got guys who can absolutely shove. They have Kai Lexas. I'm going to completely butcher his last name. He's got a 2.63 ERA on this season, 24 innings pitched. Spencer Seed was the big game name that they got from UC San Diego, 2.93 ERA on the season. And now they got JT Rapp back, and he's going to be healthy. Probably will slot into that Friday night slot at some point. But I think Georgetown can really, really make a push for the Big East Championship. Again, you got UConn and Creighton, who are really, really strong. And it's going to be tough, but I think they make a run in the Big East tourney. Got to look out. Offense is struggling a little bit, but if the bats get going at any means necessary, that rotation is going to carry them.
And I would say, Xavier down a little bit. UConn doesn't feel like the same team they were a year ago. Creighton's definitely not the same team they were a year ago. Creighton plays Miami this week, which Miami has to have a get-right series against them, because this is not a tough Creighton team at the moment. Not saying that they won't. They have gotten going a little bit as that Canes Cats heat. Yeah. Talking about Creighton, and gotta win if you are Miami. But I think it's wide open. I think Georgetown has just as good a chance as any of those other teams in the Big East this year, and I think you're dead on with that. They've been playing good baseball. They're coached well. They show up. They do the right things, and they can pitch. That's going to keep them in a lot of baseball games this year if they can find the offense. Speaking of finding offense, Vanderbilt, man, they took 2 games at home against LSU over the weekend, but they put up a 1 run against Indiana. Now, this Indiana pitching staff held Oregon down too. It's a very good pitching staff, but you're still talking about your 7 through 13 guys basically throwing for Indiana, going out there and shutting down Vandy at home. This is a home game for Vanderbilt. After Indiana's traveling from at Eugene, going all the way over to Nashville, this is not a good look for Vanderbilt. In this, it puts them close to 200 in the RPI, I believe now.
Yeah, and again, goes back to my point of I get concerned if your offense is showing up. If you're a top tier team in some sense, quote unquote, and your offense isn't showing up in a midweek when you're facing those kind of the midweek arms. They had 9 hits and they still couldn't find a run. 11 left on base. That was the number I was looking for. Not good. And then you had Indiana had 9 left on base. So you're like, okay, they could have scored more runs. And Connor Hamilton gave up 4 earned, not great. It's just like Vanderbilt, I don't know what to make of them, right? They're a team that I feel like starts very slow, and then all of a sudden they turn it on and get hot. And like last year, they were number 1 going into the postseason play. It was crazy.
I can't figure them out, honestly, and it feels like a coin flip every single weekend, and I think we're going to have another one. So these midweeks are crushing RPI for SEC teams. It's crushing RPI for ACC teams. Yeah, I think we're going to see quite an imbalance in RPI when we get to the end of the season, because these guys are not just building off of each other's RPI now because they've been beat up by these midweek losses. The only teams that are sitting at the top of ACC play are safe, and the teams sitting at the top of SEC play are not safe because their RPIs are not great right now. And it kind of feels a little bit strange. Let's talk about the next one, though. Georgia Tech and Auburn. What a great day for baseball down there at Plainsman Park. Auburn really showed up. The offense had been struggling all weekend, but they showed up. They struggled against Mizzou, but they scored 9 against Georgia Tech. Just 2 from Georgia Tech was kind of the surprising part for me. Now, while Auburn pitching has been really good this year, this is a midweek game. To only put up 2 for Georgia Tech, one of the most prolific offenses in the country, that didn't look great, but I still think they're both fine.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Georgia Tech in this sense from this game. I think they ran into a really good pitcher on the day, right? Like you have a guy that comes in and shoves against this offense. Like that's super impressive. So not much you can do there as Georgia Tech. And yeah, Andreas Alvarez, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks.
Yeah.
Like
10 strikeouts was the number there that got me. Like that's you're going to have a day where these people are hitting the ball hard at somebody, but he struck out 10. It's not, they were swinging and missing. That was a very good performance for him against a really good Georgia Tech lineup. So it's not like Georgia Tech sat a bunch of guys and gave other, this was a strong Georgia Tech lineup. Yeah. And they did not hit the ball. So yeah, very impressive.
That performance gets you into a weekend rotation spot too, if someone's struggling.
I mean, and the fact is, with the pitching that Auburn has, they might be sitting right there at the top of the SEC when we're talking about this thing. I mean, they're a top 5 team for a reason. Yep. People who haven't watched them enough are probably going, why? This is why their pitching is really tough. Butch Thompson has a staff this year. Mm-hmm. It may not have the flash of some of these top end staffs, but it's right there as far as talent wise.
Yeah, agree.
I love them. I think that it's a very good team. Talking about staff, though, Florida State has a really good weekend, and then they go out and throw a no-hitter against Bethune at home, like 7-inning no-hitter, combined no-hitter. But Florida State is for real. I don't care what anybody else says at this point. They can say that we have them too high. They're wrong. This is a top 8, top 5 team. I mean, I picked them as my national champ for a reason, Jared.
We talked about this in the preseason about how the offense is going to be absolutely insane. It was going to be a question mark about the pitching. So far, 3.57 ERA as a team, right? You have a 1-2 punch now with Wes Mendez and Trey Beard. And again, I mentioned on the last podcast, like you have a 1-2 punch. Like it increases your chance to go to Omaha. We saw it with LSU and Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. A healthy Trey Beard is going to be massive for this team. And again, he wasn't hurt or injured. He just had the flu. And so it seems like he's gotten back to full form here. But he had 14 strikeouts last weekend.
Career high.
Mendez was insane for 7 innings. I think he had 11 Ks in that outing, something insane like that. You just have those 2 guys, and if that offense is firing on all cylinders, like watch out.
Yeah, I think that people just need to be like, hey, Florida State's for real. We're going to find out more this weekend when they host NC State, which I know we're going to talk about that when we get to the future series. But man, I can't wait for this weekend. There's going to be some good ones. Oklahoma, they're losing tonight. They also lost to Southeast Louisiana 0-3, 0 runs. Another offense that just fell on its face.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about just the game. How I'll talk just because LSU is up 5-0 right now on Oklahoma, and this was kind of some of my concerns with the Oklahoma. Like LJ Mercurius has been fantastic, but Cam Johnson coming back down to earth was my biggest concern. Not that I wanted to see it, because like incredible kid, like he's just kind of deserves the best. But went out there today, 1 1/3 innings, 5 runs, 6 walks. Only 1 earned, so I think there's some errors behind him.
Some mistakes.
Yeah, but it's just like if he comes kind of crashing back down to earth, it's like, okay, you have Mercurius, and then you're kind of wondering with Cam Johnson. that's been my biggest thing. Like when we talked about Cam Johnson as a prep prospect going into the draft, like the stuff was just absolutely electric, but the command and control was just always the concern. And he seemed like he had early on honed it in, like he dominated in Arlington. And I was like, oh man, they got an ace. And like Jay Johnson even talked about it in a post-game interview, like how great the kid is, the family is. Like he wishes him the best, and that's what you want to see for the kid. And I don't want to see him come crashing back down to earth. But that's a question mark for Oklahoma if it does happen.
Yeah, it's the reality, unfortunately, is that this does happen sometimes. Guys can lose command, and what it really does for Oklahoma is on a short weekend already where they're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it puts them in a tough spot bullpen-wise because now they're going to have to burn some arms on Friday, which isn't the most fun, and then they're going to be in a little bit of trouble here trying to get this lineup up out in LSU. Never easy to play at the box, and now you put yourself in a really tough spot. I don't even know what Oklahoma's going to use for arms tonight. They may just say, hey, we're down 5-0 already in this one. Let's just see if we can hit our way out of it and pitch the guys, maybe back in bullpen, because they got to try to figure out a way to win Saturday or Friday and Saturday now. But yeah, tough loss for them also during the midweek. I don't know. This offense for Oklahoma has been hit or miss. They looked really pretty good against Texas A&M in parts, but then there were a few innings in that series where they looked like they were completely lost at the bat. Like in almost all of Saturday, they looked like they didn't belong in the plate. So tough to see. Alabama and South Alabama. Alabama 3, South Alabama 6. That could have been way worse too. South Alabama left like 15 on base, right? Like that was insane. South Alabama, good baseball team. Alabama seems to just be lost offensively currently.
Yeah, I think if I'm concerned about one SEC team right now, it's Alabama. I had so much hope for them going into the in the preseason just because of the pitching staff, and I thought the lineup was going to absolutely mash. But they're hitting 266 as a team, and that's kind of where my concern lies with the Alabama team. Is they had all those injuries to the Sam Christensen, who was the big transfer from Oklahoma, I believe, over to Alabama. You have Brady Neal's hitting well, Bryce Fowler's hitting well, Justin LeBron's hitting well, and then after that, it's kind of a big drop off in terms of production that you're getting from this lineup. And so the pitching staff is still throwing well. I think they have a team ERA of 4.13. Miles Upchurch has been incredible for them on the mound. Tyler Fay and Zane Adams, who are the two returners, haven't really lived up to the hype. The bullpen's been good, but you have two starters, and Zane Adams has a 4.3 ERA, and then Tyler Fay has a 5.34 ERA. That's not what you want from two guys who are returning, who were got some big innings for you last year. So, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about this team, I would say. And Rob Vaughn's a great guy. Like, he's one of the best coaches in college baseball. He develops really good team culture. He develops really good team chemistry. It just seems like they're just not clicking right now. And I don't know if it's because of the injuries that happened or things like that, but really need to see them turn it around.
It just feels inconsistent right now because sometimes like we're like, hey, on paper, this is one of the better teams in college baseball. And right now they're not performing. And that happens. You're going to go through those things. I mean, there's plenty of time to turn it around. But 4 straight losses and then heading into a tough weekend this weekend, like they got to turn things around quickly because the SEC season can get away from you fast. And when you start going to 17, 18 losses, all of a sudden you're no longer a tournament team. And that'd be a tough look for this Alabama team with, a top 5 pick possibly and Justin LeBron sitting there. So I want to see more. I want to see more consistency, and it's just not there. UCLA consistent. They did beat Pepperdine 5-4. It wasn't great again. We've talked about it. They kind of feel like in coast mode when they get into these games. They just feel like, hey, we're going to win. We're there. That's kind of what they did. They showed up and won. Arizona State wins in 10 innings against Grand Canyon. These games against Grand Canyon are always awesome, always terrific baseball games. They won in 10 innings. Arizona State's got to be on a high, though. They got to be feeling themselves right now, Jared.
I love this ASU team. I know they struggled in that tournament in Arlington. I can, being someone who attended Arizona State for 2 years, of course, I love this ASU team, but the offense is just absolutely incredible. Landon Harrison's a monster. Like he's going to be one of the top prospects for the 2027 MLB draft by far. Yeah. Nuno Contreras has been on fire for them. Garrett Michelle's been a great transfer ad. Dean Toigo's been a great transfer ad. And then on the mound, they've been absolutely dominating as well. We talked about Cole Carlin ad nauseum at this point about how he stepped in as the Friday night ace. Alex Overbay has been incredible. This is a guy I actually wanted to talk about on the last podcast and didn't get a chance to touch on. He struggled in his last start, but before that, like he's made that move to the rotation. If he can give you a 1-2 punch with him and Cole Carlin, like look out. This team's going to be absolutely incredible. And Cole Kleckler, that's another guy that I don't think gets enough love and credit. I think he's their Sunday guy. He dominated against TCU. So Yeah, this team is a team that invested in this offseason, really put their money towards building this baseball program and getting it back to what it used to be. It looks like they're on the right track.
It does. And, they went out and got some really good players. Like, yes, they added some guys. Smaldino's been good for them. A lot of these transfers in have been really good for them, and they're performing at a high level, and that's what you want to see. Like, it was, they lost the Friday game to TCU. That was a good baseball game. It's a tough loss. You're going to have those. But I think if this rotation ends up being the direction it's going and being really good, Jared, this is a team that could run away with the Big 12 real fast. Like, that's one of the only teams that I think, looking at it, that can really run away with this conference. And it's Arizona State when I pick them
and K-State going at it this weekend. That's a serious matchup. Like, those are the two teams that are catching my eye in the Big 12.
Two big offenses. That's a lot of offense. And if Arizona State can shut down that offense, there's not really an offense that they can't shut down. So
that's a series I'm tuning into this weekend.
Yep,
for sure.
It's going to be fun. Another one I want to mention: UNLV wins 4-3 at home against Fullerton. That team's getting a little hot there. Very good offense there for UNLV. Excited to see them playing. Wednesday, Jared, Coastal loses another game. Now they got to stop losing these midweeks just for RPI reasoning. 3-4 to Campbell. Campbell is not the Campbell of old. This is not a Justin Hare Campbell team. This is not a team that goes out there and wins 50 baseball games. Coastal, not a good look to go and lose this one.
Yeah, and I struggle with this Coastal team too, because it's not like they have the strong Sun Belt schedule that they've had in the past, right? They don't play Southern Miss. They don't play. I know Troy's having a down year, but they don't play Troy. I think they play Louisiana at some point, right? They play them at the end of the year. So Texas State they have, but like, you got to win these games now. Like, their preseason, I was actually excited for their preseason when they had all these games against some kind of higher caliber competition like Texas and UTSA and Ole Miss, and they kind of didn't really do anything except against Ole Miss. So I'm just like kind of worried about it, especially if they're not getting Cam Flukie or Hayden Johnson back for 6 weeks. It's probably been a couple weeks since then. Maybe they like get those guys back and they go on an absolute run, win 15 straight, and you're like, okay, Coastal's back. That could happen.
Yeah, it could. And the problem for me is the same thing with Oregon State, right? There's just not a lot of weekend series that tickle the fancy of the RPI. Like, that's not going to boost their RPI with our weekend wins. You got to win almost every game that you can. Like, you got to go out there and just dominate these midweeks. They look great against Wake, right? We're like, okay, maybe the offense is back. Rex has been tremendous for them. And then they just kind of go flat here, and it kind of just kills you when you look at the end of this number here where they lose that one. It's just not a good look. If you're a Coastal fan, it's tough. Mizzou and Kansas. I actually wrote the score wrong in my book, but it is Kansas winning this one 10-0. Big win for Kansas. They finally got a win on Sunday. They look good. Dario Losaria finally hitting 3 home runs. Like, they're getting going offensively. Brady Bollinger. If this team gets going, this is one of those teams that can hit with anybody else in the country now. Are they going to be able to pitch with anybody? That's the question mark, I think, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, your offense that you expected to be high octane is hitting 270 as a team, and only 28 home runs. That's kind of concerning. Your home run leader is 4 right now in Jordan Bach. You were expecting a lot more offensive production from that team, and your team ERA is almost 6. So if your pitching staff isn't stepping up, you need the offense to be there. And Dominic Vogley, or how do you say his last name? Vaguely, yeah. I'm not good with name pronunciation, which I need to get better at. But he's got a 10.23 ERA on the season.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about him because he was supposed to be the guy who was supposed to be the ace of this staff for the last couple of years. And the stuff is like, you watch him pitch and you're like, how is it leading to that? Will's talked about this on podcasts. Like, him and Owen Kramkowski are like the two guys you watch, like what they do on the mound. And you're like, how are they producing these ERAs and getting hit so hard? So, yeah, I mean, I've got concerns about Canada. Like, I was pretty high on them to be one of the top teams in the Big 12, and now it's like K-State and ASU are definitely like way above them.
Yeah, Kansas was in my top 25. They were number 25 in my preseason. I'm like, the offense is there. Dominic Vagley is going to dominate. He has the ability to be an ace on Friday nights. They haven't seen it. Now, maybe they're just waiting until I show up on campus. Maybe that's what it is. I'll be there in a few weeks. Maybe that's just they're waiting to see get going from there for that UCF series. But it's a big one here. They got to start going right now. Like, Kansas has to get going, has to start hitting the baseball. I think we all agree Fitz is a tremendous coach. He's going to get these guys going. They just kind of had to find their footing. Maybe they've done that now. The 10 runs against Mizzou is a big one. Louisiana at Houston, 6-3 in 10 innings. Big win for Louisiana, who jumped into our top 25. this is a good Louisiana team, but I don't know if they're a great team. But they win games. Like, I can't find flaws in them other than, their numbers don't jump off the page, but they're good.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching them in the Maryland series, and Maryland should have won all those games, but Louisiana just peppers the hell out of the baseball. Like, it's singles, and they bunt, and they try to make havoc on the base pass. Like, that's what they do. And it throws teams off because they're not used to it. They're like looking for the big guy who's going to hit the home run. And they have 12 home runs as a team. As a team, they have 12 home runs. Quentin Coates has 15. He's got more than this entire team on his own for Cincinnati. And so I just like, it's a good team because they do the small things right and they play small ball well. And it works. Like, and the pitching staff has been really good for them this year. So you combine those two things and it's just like they win games. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Somebody asked me off the air, they're like, hey, what is this team? I said, they're 2022 Oklahoma. Like, this is a Skip Johnson team that does the things right on the base paths. They don't necessarily have a superstar that you lean on. Now, I know that team in Oklahoma did, but they don't hit a ton of home runs. They don't pitch like they don't have a ERA sub 3. Like, they're just good at baseball and they do the right things at the right time. How long that lasts, I don't know. But for them, I think that they're playing just good baseball at the right time, and I love it. I mean, it's good for the game. Talked about this one already with Clemson beating Citadel 9-3. Good for Clemson offense to get going again. Virginia at Liberty. This is a very good Liberty baseball team that is not getting enough credit probably this year for how good they've been. They've already beat a West Virginia team 14-12. Virginia does win this one, but I will tell you, Liberty gave them every bit of content that they had the whole game. Like, that was a very good baseball game.
Yeah. I like this. I mean, I like Liberty in general as a squad, but Virginia is highly ranked because of the offense, and this is a really, really, really good team. But you're going to run into a Liberty when your back half of your pitching staff's throwing and you don't have the strongest pitching staff in the world as to begin with. That's what's going to happen. Like, I'm not worried about Virginia after this one. I think they're going to play really well over the weekend. I'll be curious to see how they do in this series. I think who do they have this weekend? I think Wake Forest. But I'll have to refresh my brain on that one. But yeah, I mean, good for Liberty. Like, it's what you want to do when you're coming into a midweek. You want to put those numbers up. And they almost lost to Georgetown too. So it's like running on thin ice there, but I think they're fine.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to weekend series, I think that they've shown they have enough pitching. Now, we have mentioned that they have troubles on Sundays because they're running out of pitching. They're going to lengthen those guys out a little bit. If Kyle Johnson can throw some innings for them, maybe that helps them out and they start getting that direction going the right way. Offense is there, though, and I don't think there's any question that Virginia offense is a top 10 offense right now. Nebraska at Wichita State. Now, people are probably going, why are you mentioning this game? 1, in-state rivalry. 2, Nebraska now has won 11 straight games and are showing that they might be for real in the Big Ten. Granted, they haven't played super tough competition, but 11 straight wins, I don't care who you are, that's really good.
Yeah, I think this is a team last year we had preseason ranked in the top 25, and they just kind of fell off the table. Talent was immense, and it just kind of didn't pan out, but they're crushing the baseball offensively. This is a team that's Matt Moore is hitting over 400 for this team. Dalen Carey's hitting almost 400 for this team. Case Sanderson, who kind of struggled last year, is hitting 383. So this is a team where last year that's where we were high on as well. Like, when you looked at the potential draft prospects for them, like, it was all bats. And the pitching staff showed up. They've gotten really, really good starts from their arms. I think 2 of their big innings eaters, Ty Horn and Gavin Blachowicz, they've both got ERAs either at 3 or under 3. And then another guy, Cooper Katsky, he's got a 1.48 ERA. He started 3 games out of 7 for them. Like, pitching staff looks good, and so you have to be pretty excited if you're Nebraska.
Yeah, and this is a team that's already taken a game from Florida State, already taken a game from Auburn. Like, those are no shoveovers. Like, no. And they took them on weekends, so it's not like they were facing their midweeks. This was weekend games against both those teams going out there. Now, offensively, there's question marks as far as the power, right? Outside Dylan Carey, they haven't had a lot of power. They only have 17 home runs as a team, which this team will probably hit more home runs as the weather heats up. But they are crushing the ball. They have 135 RBIs as a team. They're hitting 312. Like, they're doing the things right. They just haven't had the power numbers. Once it heats up there a little bit, I think that this team really could go a long ways. I think that there's a big potential here. They got Michigan this weekend. I'm excited for that one. That's a good matchup here to see, just to kind of test the water to see where Nebraska is. But 11 straight victories. Don't care who you are. That's huge.
Yeah. They're a bubble top 25 team for me.
They're right on the edge. They're if they go sweep Michigan, there'd be really hard to keep them out of top 25 with 14 straight wins. I'll tell you that much right now. UNC Greensboro 2, UNC 8. I just got the news that UNC did lose at basketball too, right? VCU came back and won that game in the March Madness, which is wild. But UNC baseball, time to lock in, folks. Your basketball team's out. Lock into baseball now.
Yeah.
That offense is good for UNC. The pitching is good for UNC. This is a top-tier team if they can keep putting it together. Inconsistency is what you'd have to say, but this was a good win for them. UNC Greensboro is a very good baseball team.
Yeah, not much to add on there. Had my concerns with North Carolina when they've lost to Virginia in that series. So, not much to really add on that, but good win for North Carolina.
USC starts up a winning streak game with a couple wins during the midweek, but they had the walk-off bomb by Basir last night or on Wednesday night. I guess last night. Huge 4-3. They were down in that game to the ninth. I will say Bakersfield is surprising the heck out of me this year. They've played some good baseball. Now, they don't have a ton of wins. It's not going on the win column, but they've given a lot of teams a run for their money. USC, though, they got to find more offense because even the Tuesday game, they had to put on runs late to win that game. So we know the pitching staff. Do they have the hitting to match into with the Oregon Ducks and UCLA? I don't think it doesn't look like it's there right now.
Do you need offense if you're posting a 1.78 ERA as a team? I don't know. No, I think you're right.
I mean, eventually, though, they're going to face UCLA and Oregon, who are two teams that are, over 1 OPS for their squads. Like, you're not going to be able to hold those teams under 5, I don't think. And so you're going to say, are they going to score 5 against those teams on the offensive side? I will
say, like, the one thing that's been impressive about the USC team is that they've been able to hit when like the opportunity presents itself, like with runners in scoring position. Like they've been capitalizing on those opportunities, but again, they're not putting up the gaudy like 9 runs a game. But it's just not happening for them. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I'll be curious to see like what they're able to do, and if the offense can pick it up at all.
Yeah, and they will get some runs. I think that they'll figure it out a little bit more, but it is concerning to look at them and go, yeah, the offense may not be able to carry them enough. But hey, go pile up wins now. If you're the third team in the Big Ten, maybe you're the team that gets in, but Nebraska kind of scares me now with them. So they're going to have a battle in for it. Now, that bracket did change, and so now the postseason bracket's all different again. It's, starting as a double elimination and then goes into a single elimination, kind of like Hoover used to be. It's a strange one, but we're going to see what happens here in the postseason. There's going to be some teams that are going to make some noise. West Virginia and BYU. BYU always plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday games. This game's already over. 4 for BYU and 7 for West Virginia. Good job, West Virginia, to get back on the winning train, especially on the first game of the weekend series. They'd been struggling the last 2 weeks with that. Jared, we have them in the top 25. I know that they're fringe or in for a lot of teams. This is a top 25 caliber team. Can they be consistent? This is a good win to win at home, even though it's BYU.
Yeah, Dawson Montesa was back to his old self again. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 earned. Like, he was great. And that's what you want from him. I'm just annoyed that BYU beat Cincinnati because I had Cincinnati. Like, I was ready to put them in the top 25 if they had a good weekend.
You were ready to raise the flag. You were ready, man.
That offense is so good for them, and the pitching staff just could not contain BYU. And I'm like, how can you not contain BYU? But I really like this West Virginia team. The offense has been cooking. The pitching staff has been really, really good. Top 2 hitters of, I believe, for West Virginia are hitting over 400 in the top of their lineup. And the pitching staff, like Dawson Montesa, has really stepped up, and now he's in the Friday night role for them. I'm really excited to kind of see what West Virginia can do now that we're in Big 12 play, because I think everybody's like, oh, they've been losing to so-and-so. We're not playing any good teams, but we're keeping guys like teams like Arkansas in the top 10 or others in the top 25, and they're losing to not so great teams either. So I'm ready to see what West Virginia, the Big 12. I think it's them, Arizona State, and K-State are the teams to watch right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the lineup there. West Virginia is one of the teams that I think has a lot of potential. And if Montesa is going to be good for them on the opening day of any weekend series, it gives them a really good spot. If they can go and sweep the rest of this series, they're going to feel really good about themselves, especially getting that extra day of rest heading into the next couple of weeks here in Big 12 play. 2 SEC series started today. Oklahoma and LSU, which we talked about a little bit. That one is 0-5. Oklahoma 0, LSU 5. This is being played at the box. LSU's tough at home. Oklahoma, like you mentioned, Cam Johnson, not the best start for him. What are they going to do for the rest of this weekend? I don't know, man, but we're already in the 5th in that game.
Well, we talked about it where it's like Casey Evans, is he going to lose his Friday night role? Well, he goes 5 innings, 1 hit, 10 Ks against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Maybe not going to lose his Friday night role if he continues to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be still in the game because he's only at 68 total pitches right now. Through striking out 10 and at 68 total pitches. That is insane. If Casey Evans can do this, if he can like figure this out in the Friday night role, we're talking about LSU being back in the top 25. We're talking about LSU being back in Omaha. Like they need these key guys to step up for them. Derek Curriell's another one. We need to see more production and offensive production from him as well. Stephen Milam as well has not been hitting very well. It's been like the Jake Brown show mostly for LSU all season. So these other bats can really start to turn it around. Like we're gonna see LSU back at it. And we've said it before. It's like Jay Johnson versus everybody. Like give this guy a whole season. He's gonna try to figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're gonna be fine. They're gonna get going offensively and Oklahoma's got some real testers coming up. Now their schedule does easy out a little bit more in the middle of the SEC schedule, but you got to find ways to win. And I talked about it last week and I said, hey, they got to probably go 2-4 over the next 2 series. Not a great one when your ace doesn't get out of the second inning here in this one against LSU.
Yeah. And you know what it kind of feels like a little bit for LSU is kind of like a similar start to Texas A&M last year.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
Like
it does.
Top 1-2 team in the nation and couldn't figure it out. Like this Oklahoma series, I think, is going to tell us whether they can turn it around. Because like Texas A&M could never turn it around. They really kind of started in the SEC tournament to find it, but it was too late by then. So like if LSU can do it now against Oklahoma, all right, we're talking about okay, they can come back.
Yeah, a team that has been really good pitching. Tomorrow will be a big one, right? Against
Mercurius.
Like, how's this one gonna? If LSU hits him, watch out because they could get going. I mean, if they can find pitching now, that's been a big issue for LSU. Kentucky and Ole Miss is the other one here. 18-2 Kentucky, by the way. They're down 3-0 in the 5th inning here. Hunter Elliott is very good, and he's pitching very good in this one here against Kentucky. And all the offenses come from Tristan Becerra. 2 home runs here for Ole Miss. I believe it's his third or fourth multi-home run game of the season already for the Rebels. This guy has been just lights out offensively for them. I mean, Ole Miss is fringe 25. Yeah.
Becerra's hitting 420 on the season. Like, this is nuts what he's doing. Every time it seems like he's at bat, he's hitting a home run. And we were kind of high on the offense going into the preseason because you have guys like Will Furnace, you have Judd Uttermark, all these guys that are returning to this lineup. And I didn't think Becerra was going to do this when I saw that he transferred from Clemson to Ole Miss. Like, he's just been fantastic for them. And again, you mentioned they got a Friday night guy in Hunter Elliott. Ben Cleaver didn't have his best stuff. It looks like he went 3 2/3, I think, something like that. Short outing, had a few strikeouts, but Kentucky's offense needs to get it going if they want to win this game. And it's an offense that can get going. Like Ethan Hindle's been fantastic. Tyler Bell's been fantastic. I think it's Jace Tarnish. He's been awesome as well. So I'm not counting Kentucky out because, like, after Hunter Elliott, the Ole Miss pitching staff does have a lot of question marks. So I'm excited to see this series and how it pans out.
Yeah, and Hunter Elliott's he's not going to go 9 innings in this one. He's already thrown 70 pitches, I believe. Like, he's not going to go the full distance in this one. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here. Kentucky is scrappy too. They figured out ways to win. Nick Mingione figures out ways to win when he goes into the ballpark. So excited from this one. Let's talk about our guys at Visual Edge, man. We love them. We're excited for this here partnership that we've had with these guys. Confidence comes at the plate. It doesn't just take more swings to get better. You need other things. It comes from clarity. Seeing the ball out of the hand, picking up the spin early, trusting your swing decision because you see the baseball coming. You know what's coming. You can hit it. Visual Edge is built around training that kind of clarity. You start with the edge test, which measures your visual processing, tracking, depth perception, and it allows you to stand and compare what you are doing against other college baseball players or other players of your level. Ooh, you got the 3D glasses already. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
It builds a personalized plan around you, and it helps you train the things that you are struggling on. Sessions are short. They're focused 15 minutes a day. You can do it anywhere you are at. Anything that's on a tablet, computer, anything bigger than a phone works for this training. It's awesome. Tons of MLB guys are using this, guys. Aaron Judge, Nico Horner, Tommy Edman, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and others have started using this because at the highest level, the fractions of a second really matter. Listeners of our show here can use code CBSHOW. You get the first month free 3D glasses, free shipping. You can cancel anytime. Go to visualedge.com/signup and use code CBSHOW. That's visual with a Z. 15 minutes a day can change how you see the game. Train your eyes, train your brain, and earn your edge. Nice glasses, by the way. I'm excited for my set when it arrives. I'm going to start sharing my scores. You're going to have to start sharing your scores eventually, Jared, so you can start telling us. We might have to have one just with us college baseball show guys and see where we're at.
I highly recommend reading the instructions and don't do what I did and try to figure it out during the middle of the game, because then you look like you don't know how to swing a baseball bat or have any idea what you're doing. So next time I do it, I'm definitely reading the instructions before I actually start it. I was like, I don't need them. And then I figured it out 10 seconds in, and it was way too late.
It's like, you're really good against other 7th graders, Jared. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some weekend series. We've already talked about Oklahoma, LSU. We know what needs to go on there. Kentucky, Ole Miss, that's going right now. The one that I'm really excited about, NC State at Florida State. We think we know what we're getting from Florida State. We think we kind of have an idea what NC State is. This is one of the marquee matchups of ACC ball this year. This is going to tell us a lot about how good Florida State's pitching staff is and how good NC State's pitching staff is, I think.
Yeah, this is what I've struggled with, because NC State, for being 17-4, hasn't looked great.
Not wowed. Yeah.
But the crazy part is, you look at their offensive numbers. They got 40 home runs on the season, 202 RBIs, 341 batting average. Pitching staff's been absolutely dominant. And it's how are they losing games? I just don't know how they're losing any games.
Bad. Those losses are big losses. They're not even close, really.
And so I think this is going to be a really good test. We all picked Florida State to win this series, which means NC State is definitely winning this series. So just going to throw that out there. Because Jacob Duden's been awesome for him. Ryan Marone has an 0.87 ERA on the mound for them. This pitching staff's good, and they can go toe-to-toe easily with Wes Mendez and Trey Beard. So, I don't know. Tyler, being the NC State fan, I think is a little sad, and he's no, I'm not even picking NC State because we're not going to win this series. But I think he's more doing it I'd rather jinx Florida State and get my NC State Wolfpack a victory here. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a closer series than we think. Their offense, if you look at the offensive numbers at NC State, they're better than Florida State's offensive numbers right now. And we talked about how great the Florida State offense is. So could it be because NC State hasn't been playing competition? I don't know. And I think we're going to really find out this weekend.
I think it's a question mark, and I'm very excited for it because, I've been very a proponent of, I'm big on Florida State this year. I think what Link Jarrett has is really talented. I think NC State is equally talented, though. I think this being possibly Avent's last year, this could be a team that's kind of one of those sneaky teams that could sneak in for an Omaha run. They're talented. They have pitching. They can hit the ball. Like you said, 40 home runs at this point already, and 200 RBI. This is a team that can play baseball, so I'm excited for this one. The other one is Georgia at Texas A&M, because I'm high on Texas A&M. I know a few of us are high on Texas A&M. What is Georgia going to do on the road in an SEC series with all the pitching, all the lineup, and can Texas A&M make the turn after struggling in a couple games against Oklahoma last weekend?
Yeah, and I think the big question mark for me is what is Georgia? I still don't
Especially
quite
on the road,
know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we have them highly ranked because of the offense and all the transfers that they got in, but they could have potentially lost that series to Tennessee. That game-winning home run robbing catch was the only reason they won that game. And so
it's probably out of 14 of the 16 ballparks in SEC, to be honest, too. It's probably out of 14 of 16, just not there in Kentucky. Everywhere else, that ball's a home run.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they won one game 4-2, so the offense wasn't scorching hot against this Tennessee team, but they have 69 home runs and 222 RBIs as an offense. Daniel Jackson has 14 home runs, which is more than Louisiana's team. Brendan Hudson has 11 home runs. He's close to having more than Louisiana's team. The offense is just absolutely incredible. You have Trey Phelps. You have Colby Branch, who's been absolutely clutch. Pitching staff, this is the thing that was always throwing me off is the pitching staff has never looked fantastic, and Wes Johnson is a pitching coach by training, but they've been better this year. They have a team ERA of 3.69. Joey Volchko has really stepped up and taken some progress from what he was when he was at Stanford, but he struggled against Tennessee on that Friday night. Magoo has been fantastic for them. Caden Aoki has been incredible for them as well. But they're still kind of trying to figure out some of the other pieces. Like Matt Scott's gotten a few starts here and there. Kenny Ishikawa hasn't been great, even though he has gotten starts on the mound. So bullpen's been really good. So that when you're going to get late into games that they got a good chance of winning. I'm still kind of like, we'll see how SEC play goes for Georgia.
I want to see more road talent from them. I want to see them go on the road and beat somebody. And if they go to Texas A&M and win at Bluebell, okay, I'll give them all the credit in the world. If they could take 2 or 3 here, they're going to stay as a top 5 team for me. But if they drop a couple and Florida State wins the series against NC State, it's hard for me not to say that Florida State jumps them into that top 5. That could be the determining factor this weekend between those 2 teams, which one's the top 5 team, because they're right there on the edge with each other. So
I agree.
I think it's going to be outstanding to watch. And I know that we have Olivia Sayer. She's coming on, right? She's going to be on the show with us on Saturday. We're excited to have her. Big 247 Dogs rider. So Jai's going to have to join in on Saturday and check us out because she's going to be ready to talk about that one. And we're going to have all the action from Friday night. So I can't wait. Wake Forest at Virginia. Wake needs to figure themselves out. Blake Morningstar is going to have a better start. I don't know if it helps going up against the Virginia lineup at home.
No, I mean, we saw what Morningstar did against Florida State, and I think Virginia's lineup is potentially better than Florida State's. I think they're pretty close. I worry about this Wake team because they lost that game early on in Houston, and we bumped them out of the top 25. Brought them back in because they just kind of kept winning games, and you can't fault a team for winning games. I just don't know. I think Wake Forest needs to win this series. I think this is almost a must win for them after that Florida State performance to keep themselves in the top 25. I think they're a fringe top 25 team if they do lose this series to Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they'd be out of the top 25 because then now you're looking at them. If they lose the series, they're 1-5 to start ACC play. That's not good looking up at the rest of the ACC where, you still got some tough matchups left.
You haven't played anybody else.
No, they haven't played anybody. And that's why it was kind of they were winning games and we couldn't fault them because everybody else was losing to people. If other people had been beating all their midweeks and winning all those weekends, they probably would have never been ranked for us.
Yeah.
But people were losing and they were winning.
Their best win was Washington, outside of the ACC.
Yeah.
They lost to Houston. They lost to Coastal. I guess you could say Stanford maybe because they swept Stanford, but
yeah. I mean, still.
I don't know if that's better than Washington, to be honest.
No, I think Washington's better than Stanford right now. I mean, and Washington's playing good baseball finally. They lost some arms to start the year. So, again, in that series, that was a tough one for them to go up against them and NC State. That was a tough series. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Wake's played much, and it's going to be a tough one here this weekend at Virginia. Texas at Auburn is another terrific series. Top 5 matchup. It's not getting enough love probably from folks in the national media, but we're going to talk about it because this is 2 tremendous pitching staffs, and you're going to get Riojas versus Marciano on Friday. Sounds like a boxing heavyweight to me. That is unbelievable what we're going to be getting on Friday night.
Yeah. I got to shout out Monty because he keeps saying in the chat that he preseason said Marciano wouldn't even crack the Virginia Tech rotation, and now Virginia Tech's lost 4 arms, and he's like, yeah, then maybe don't listen to me. It's just Marciano's been absolutely incredible. Whatever Auburn did to him, they've just turned him into an absolute monster. He's been anchoring down this rotation for them all year. And they're 18-2 overall. I know, again, Auburn hasn't played a ton. They have a midweek loss to Cincinnati, but Amity College Bank Series, they went and swept out in that series. K-State, Florida State, Louisville. We talked about how good K-State was. We talked about how good Florida State was. Louisville struggled, but they beat 2 good teams there. They took Nebraska, a series from Nebraska in this.
They lost the only game in extra innings. That was their loss, was extra innings.
Their preseason hasn't been super soft. Not preseason, early season hasn't been soft. And they got Missouri in the first weekend, and then they went and stomped Georgia Tech in a midweek. I I'm curious to see what they do against Texas, because we've talked about Texas being just this huge powerhouse, and Texas has kind of run into, like, I would say, quote unquote struggles. They're not really huge struggles, but this is going to be a good test for Texas, so like a litmus test to see how good this Longhorns team is.
Honestly, winner of this series probably stays at number 2. Like that's probably what it looks like in our polls. Like if Texas wins this, they stay at 2. If Auburn wins this, they could leapfrog to 2. Like that's where they could be. Like an outside chance of getting to 1, it would take a UCLA losing a series. But these are both good baseball teams, and the winner of this one's going to jump in the polls. Like, and I think if Texas takes 2 and Auburn, I don't think they would drop much for us. I mean, mentally, it doesn't feel like that'd be a bad loss for them. They're going to drop a little bit, but I still think that this is a good team. Of course, we're going to have to watch and see how the games go.
If UCLA loses the series to Maryland this weekend, they are definitely not number 1.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like one of these 2 teams would be number 1. Whoever wins the series might jump to number 1 if UCLA were to drop the set to Maryland.
With Maryland on the road, like, can't do that.
No, can't do that one. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not calling that as a prediction, by the way. Not throwing that out there. I did have Maryland at UCLA as our last game to talk about. We don't even need that one. We know what we're going to see from that one. UCLA at home, very good. Let's talk about Vanderbilt at Mississippi State. I know we're running out of time here a little bit. We got about 8-9 minutes left. Vanderbilt at Mississippi State. This is a big series for both these. Mississippi State needs to get right after the 2 losses against Arkansas. They're at home. Vanderbilt wins 2 against LSU, but looks bad in the midweek. Vanderbilt feels like they still need to go figure out a couple more wins here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were all super high on Mississippi State after that big showdown they had with UCLA. Like, you could tell these were 2 College World Series teams. I don't think anything's changed even with the Arkansas loss. Like, for most people, Arkansas is a top 10 team in the country. And so I'm not quite worried about this Mississippi State team, but I do agree. Like, if they do what happened to LSU, okay, you're going to see Mississippi State drop quite a bit. Like, if we're kicking LSU out of the top 25 for losing the series to Vanderbilt, but then at the same time, you're like, okay, is Vanderbilt real if they do take a series from Mississippi State? So, both sides of the ball are great for Mississippi State. I'm not worried on the pitching side, on the offensive side. Everything is clicking for them right now. They had a tough loss against last weekend, but I'm not too worried.
No, and we've always talked about it. It's so hard to win a doubleheader, especially against a top 10 team. Like, you're just not going to do that. They took the first one. They lost the opening night one on a heartbreaker. Like, yeah, you're at Arkansas also. Tough to win at Baum-Walker anyway. I'm not feeling down on this. If Mississippi State goes out and sweeps, it wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me if Vanderbilt takes 2 of 3. That would be the shock for me, I think, is if Vanderbilt can figure out a way to win 2 on the road, especially with how not great the pitching's been. Like, they didn't win on Friday because of pitching. They won because they out-hit LSU late. That is not a great pitching team, and I don't think that they're going to be able to out-hit this Mississippi State team. Clemson at Notre Dame is very interesting because this could determine a lot for Notre Dame's season, and it could determine a ton for Clemson. Is Clemson good? Is Jack Riddell going to shut them down on Friday? Like, if he's the Jack Riddell of other Fridays, not this last week, previous weeks, Notre Dame's tough. If it's not that, Clemson could take this series pretty easily. Yeah,
I mean, I was pretty high on Notre Dame after they got the Duke series win, and then they went into Louisville and kind of got blown out. I think one game was like 21-11. They lost 8-7 in the other, but they won 14-11. So yeah, I think it's going to be a huge test for Notre Dame to see, can they hang with Clemson? And we saw Clemson kind of get steamrailed basically by Georgia Tech, which again, Georgia Tech top 3 team in the country. But can Clemson like bounce back from that and take a series that they need to win to kind of stay in the top 25? Like, you lose this series to a Notre Dame team, your top 25 chances, like you said, they'll start what? They lose this series 1-5, 1-4, or 2-5, or sorry, 2-4,
1-5, depending on what they do. Yeah.
So yeah, I think you need a series win there for sure. And you don't have to win all 3. I think you just need a series
2 or 3 is fine because it's a good Notre Dame team. You don't like on the road too. You have to win at South Bend anyway. 2 of 3, you're fine. If you lose the series, you're going to have some question marks, especially if they don't hit, because they didn't hit in the first 2 games against Georgia Tech. They did a little bit in the third game, but they were mostly helped out by some hit batsmen and some walks. They got to figure out how to hit. They got to be able to hit, and that's a problem that they had last year. Nebraska at Michigan, we already talked about this one. Big series, road series for Nebraska at Michigan. One of these 2 teams is going to have to show us something for Big Ten play. UCF at TCU is an interesting, huge Big 12 series because UCF swept opening weekend. They are sitting atop the Big 12 standings right now. They are a very good team. They've been able to pitch. They have a stud in Williamson in the outfield. Like, they have a stud freshman at Jordan at shortstop. Like, this is a very good UCF team, and playing a TCU team that's still down and out. And Franco's not gonna pitch or play this weekend. Still out Tommy Lepore.
Yeah, I struggle with this TCU team because I was so high on them in the preseason. And like, you lose Lepore, like, you lose a Friday night guy, that's going to be a huge blow. But I still expected more. I felt like Brassfield could step up, and I felt that the rest of the rotation could kind of bounce in and find something. But UCF, Matt Saucer, go watch this kid pitch because he has a 0.36 ERA on the season. Yeah. It's insane what he's been doing. 20 strikeouts, 25 innings pitched. You have him, you have Andrew Williamson, and it's not, Williamson's not even tearing the cover out the ball. He's got the 12 extra base hits, but you got guys hitting better in front of him. Josh Smith is hitting 413. Austin Jacobs is hitting 356. Like, these guys are outproducing Andrew Williamson, and the offense is kind of clicking right now. So I'm really excited to see what UCF can do. TCU, as you mentioned, kind of in a downward spiral right now. We've bumped them out of the top 25. I think everybody's basically bumped them out of the top 25. This is kind of not a make or break, but I think it is kind of a make or break series for TCU. Curious to see if they're able to kind of pull it off and maybe get themselves back in the rankings.
If UCF can win this series, they're going to get votes for me for a top 25 because it's going to put them right there at the top of the Big 12.
Yep.
With all these other teams that we've talked about, with teams in front of them to play. Like, I like where they're heading. I like the direction that they're going. Their road series outside this one are a little bit easier in the Big 12. So I like where they're at. I like this UCF team. Troy at Southern Miss, huge series. We know that Troy's been down. Southern Miss has to have a bounce back at home after losing last weekend at Arkansas State.
Yeah, you can't lose this series if you're Southern Miss.
No.
Not after the hot start that you've had. This is a Troy team that's been struggling offensively. They've been struggling on the mound. And the big positive for Troy in the past has always kind of been the offense. And it's just not showing up right now. And it can't really combat like the struggles that the pitching staff is having. And so if you're Southern Miss, you have to capitalize on this series. They already talked about Colby Allen's moving back to the bullpen for them. Sounds like they're just trying to figure things out and get him back to his dominant form. Like, if you could have him come out of the pen instead and get 2-3 dominant innings, like of no run baseball, like, you're going to maybe turn the corner on that rotation. So not too worried about Southern Miss. I think they just ran into a really good Arkansas State team who's been super red hot right now. But yeah, you can't lose this series to Troy.
No, and Grayson Harris has been good for them on Saturday. So if he's moving in the Friday role, I don't feel bad about that. I think that's a fine move. I like what Ostrander. You got to believe in him, right? 40+ wins, 9 straight seasons. Like, this is a dude. They know what they're doing. But they got to win this one, because if you lose your first 2 series in the Sun Belt, that's not a good look for a Southern Miss team to stay in the rankings very high. Now, they'll probably stay in the rankings close, but that'd be a tough look for them to go 2-4 or 1-5 to start Sun Belt play.
Yeah.
Florida at Alabama. Florida did not look great last weekend, although they did win. At Alabama did not look good. They got to figure out a way to win a game. They have to win a game at home. They really should take 2, but being swept at Kentucky already, if they start off 0-6, that's really brutal for Alabama. Yeah,
I mean, I was pretty high on this Florida team. I don't know how high I am on them now, but they're 19-3. Like, I can't fault a team for winning baseball games. They've won the games basically that they've needed to win, and it maybe wasn't pretty last weekend, but they still won. Like, I don't really know what to make of this Florida team. Like, it's super talented. Like, the offense has been great. Brennan Lawson has just been incredible. I remember seeing this kid when he was a prep on Team Canada in the MLB Draft League. I thought there's no way a team's not going to let him get to campus, and he got to campus, and he's been just incredible. He was a shortstop out as a prep, and now he's been playing first, third base for Florida, and he's absolutely he's a almost 1,600 OPS, 15.99 or 1.599. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just like incredible what he's doing. And then Aiden King been lights out. He has a 0 ERA. Like literally lights out. It's just been incredible what he's doing. He's moved. He's just been an ace for them. Liam Peterson, after that one start struggle, dominant. Like, again, we talk about 1-2 punch. If you have 1-2 punch, you're probably going to Omaha. And their bullpen's been fantastic. So it's just like, I don't know. Florida to me is a top 15 team in the nation, and there's no reason I can't see them as being one. Now, if you lose a series to Alabama, then maybe not.
Yeah, they got to win. I mean, you get that 1-2 punch. You get Cooper Walls on Sundays, and then you get McNeely out of the bullpen. It feels dangerous. If they can find offense, like if they can get healthy offensively and get some dudes back, like Brendan Lawson has carried the entire load. Kyle Jones has been really good for them in center field. The rest of the offense has sputtered. And the fact is, they had 2 hits on Friday last week and won. They won, so you can't fault them there. But at the same time, they got to do more offensively. They're going to run into somebody in the SEC that's going to be able to score. Now, it may not be Alabama this week because they're several struggles. But I think as an Alabama fan, you have to go get at least one game this weekend to kind of go 1-5, or, you're in real dire straits if you go 0-3. Let's talk about just a couple more series really fast. We already talked about Arizona State and Kansas State. Huge, huge potential for both these teams. The winner of this one probably sits there atop the Big 12 and feels really good about themselves. I think that Arizona State as a road series here, going to be interesting to see that one. Hawaii at Santa Barbara, a huge one for the Big West. Santa Barbara was in our top 25, and then they dropped 2 at UC Davis. They're at home. Jackson, Florida, folks, if you guys have not seen him pitch on Friday nights, is must-view television.
Yeah.
He's a big arm.
Yeah. Oh, we did not actually have UCSB in the top 25 yet.
Oh, they were in my top 25.
Your personal.
They had received votes. My top 25. They did not. You're right. They didn't make our top 25. They were right on the fringe.
Hawaii, I want to be so much better, but then they get swept by Cal Poly. They lose to Long Beach State. I get like traveling is pretty hard for them, but Cal Poly came to them and they went and got swept by Cal Poly. But Cal Poly's been looking good.
Cal Poly's look good.
I think UCSB is going to kind of take the series pretty handedly, which sucks because I like Hawaii baseball. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun series to watch. But yeah, Jackson Flores has been incredible. He's the top 2, top 3 talent for the MLB draft.
Yeah. And then I believe next weekend, Santa Barbara hosts Oregon. So it'll be really interesting to see next weekend's games too. So big here. Santa Barbara can't look ahead. They got to take care of Hawaii this weekend, which, again, we love Hawaii. If Hawaii wins this one, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but Jackson Flores is going to be tough to beat on Fridays. He just doesn't seem to lose on Friday night. So very tough there. Louisville at UNC, Jared. Very important for Louisville. They did get 2 from Notre Dame. They take 1 from UNC. They feel pretty good about themselves. Maybe they're going the right direction. They finally got Zion Rose back.
Yeah. I mean, Zion Rose has been raking ever since he got back too. And we talk about the struggles of this Louisville team. They're still 15-6.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't been awful. They just haven't won the games that they need to win to really get themselves ranked. The offense has been firing on all cylinders. Like, there has been no issues with that offense. They've been just absolutely raking. Again, the pitching staff is like, they don't have a Patrick Forbes. They don't have, even last year for a couple of games, they had Detmers before he got hurt. So like, they have a 6.51 ERA as a team, and you're not winning baseball games no matter how good your offense is with an ERA like that. It's just, you need somebody to start up. Your starter ERAs are 8.31 from Jake Bean, 4.88 from Wyatt Danilowitz, and then 4.18 from Ethan Eberle. So Eberle's been pretty good. But outside of him, it's been kind of a struggle, and the bullpen hasn't been any better to help kind of clean things up for them. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this is actually probably a bigger series for North Carolina after their first ACC loss to Virginia. Just because, they bounced back well against Cal, but Louisville is going to be a bigger test than Cal is, I think. And so can you come back and get another sweep here against Louisville? If you do that, okay, we're not worried about you anymore.
7-2 feels a lot better than if they lose this series and all of a sudden you're going, ooh, they're 5-4 or 4-5. That's a quick way to drop out of the top 10 there. We already talked about a little bit about some of these other teams, but Washington at USC, again, USC started up their 2 wins, but this is a big series for USC at home in a Big Ten matchup. Washington has won the first 2 Big Ten series that they've played, Jared.
Yeah. Yeah. And good news for USC, they can play in the sunshine and not the snow. So maybe that'll help them.
That's a fact. I will say, It was 75 today here where I'm at up in the mountains, which was shocking in Central Oregon. Like that's uncalled for right now. But yeah, they're playing at home. They seem to be really good at home right now. USC with that ballpark that's been rebuilt, like very excited for Dato Park. Like they're excited. I think that this is a big series. Washington goes down there and wins somehow. That's a huge series for Washington to start off 3 straight series wins in Big Ten play. I think it would shock all of us because of how good the pitching has been for USC.
Yeah, and the Washington offense hasn't been great. And it seems like any team that USC runs into with not a good offense, they're just going to dominate. And so I know like the pitching staff hasn't been super tested, but I also don't think this is like a big, massive test for the pitching staff either.
No, but we're going to find out. I mean, that's why we play the games, right? We're going to get a good look at this. Washington has been on a little bit of a hot streak lately. Like I said, they did win the first 2 series. It was Indiana and it was at Indiana and then at home against Ohio State. But still 2 wins there in the conference there. And then the final one we're going to talk about, Louisiana at Texas State. Texas State, I think next year is set up as long as they keep their guys. They're going to be really, really good. They're young. They're talented. Louisiana has a chance to stay in our top 25 just by going down and sweeping.
Yeah, I think even if they would just win the series, they're going to stay in the top 25. I don't think one loss to Texas State. This is a 12-8 Texas State team. They've been pretty good. They haven't played like a ton of competition, but they found big wins against UTSA. They found a big win. I thought they got a win against Texas, but they didn't. But they played Texas A&M pretty tough. That's the one I was thinking of. And so, yeah, it's not the best Texas State team, but I think Louisiana, if you win a series in the Sun Belt, I don't think I'm punishing you and dropping you out of the top 25.
Yeah, especially we're gonna have to see what happens with Southern Miss at home against Troy. Like if they don't sweep that one, there's gonna be questions there too. So I'm excited. Jared, anything you're excited for this weekend as final thoughts before we head in?
No, I'm just excited for more baseball, as always. But yeah, I think the one I'm most excited for is ASU K-State, kind of as we talked about before. I think that plays big implications into the Big 12. And then, of course, excited for Georgia, Texas A&M. I really think we're going to get a sense of what this Georgia team is and like how good this Texas A&M team is. I think we're kind of overlooking them because, one, they haven't had a healthy Chris Hacopian all year long. Yeah. Pitching staff has looked great for them. The offense just hasn't been clicking, but the offense has still been good. I don't know. I just think this is really an opportunity for Texas A&M to kind of shoot themselves up the rankings.
At home, if they take 2 or 3, I think that's tremendous, and I think that's team. About. I think that's where they are. I picked them this weekend. Spoiler alert for our pick 'em. I did pick them this weekend because I think Hacopian being healthy. Sorrell was my preseason pick for SEC Player of the Year. I think he's that good. He's been that good. I think the one that I'm most excited for is Oregon State at UC Irvine. Now they did drop the midweek. They were on a 9-game win streak. Can they go back out there? Can they get a sweep? Like this is not UC Irvine in the last 3 years. This is probably not a 40-win UC Irvine team. Oregon State needs to find the offense, go down there and win. Now it's tough. Hanson's been really good for them. Ricky Ojeda, really good pitcher. Like they got to go win 3 games. If Oregon State offense doesn't show up though, and they lose a couple of these, they could find their way back out of our top 25. Yeah.
I'm muted. Yeah. No, I agree. I think this is going to be huge for Oregon State. They really need to come up with a big series win. And yeah, I think this is going to be huge for them to really try to kind of pull it off. And Irvine has big wins. And so like you want to like play a team and get something, this is your chance.
Yeah. If Irvine, flip side, Irvine sweeps, they feel really good about themselves heading into the rest of Big West play. So I'm excited for all the games this weekend. Listen, folks, if your March Madness team has already lost, you got baseball now. It's time to tune in. Like your teams are already being knocked out. 16 of those teams are going to be knocked out tonight. Guess what? 16 new fan bases. Welcome to college baseball. Can't wait to have you guys on. Thanks for joining us again here. We can't wait. Saturday morning, we'll have the live show for you guys. Jared, you going to be there on Saturday?
Don't know yet.
Question mark?
Maybe not. Yeah.
TBD?
Yeah, TBD. LSU is also up 7-1 now.
Ooh, is the Ole Miss game still 3-0?
4-0.
4-0 now. Was it a Tristan Bassett home run? Because if it's a third one, I'm going to lose. Nope, it was not. It was a Randall. Or Randall triple. Okay.
Kentucky's got 2 on, though, with 2 outs. So we'll see.
I love it. Let's go. Thanks for joining us again, guys. We will see you guys on Saturday morning.